This episode is dedicated to beloved narrator and voice actor Bryce Armstrong, who passed away at his home due to natural causes on the 10th of January.
He was definitely a part of my viewing experience when I was a kid, growing up with the show and falling in love with it. So in remembrance of him, this episode is for you. I'm sorry it had to be this episode.
Last time on Derek Hates Dragon Ball Z, we went over episodes 1 through 10. We also did episode 0. We talked about Raditz got punked, and then Piccolo took Gohan to a valley somewhere, which is apparently equidistant from everything in the entire Dragon Ball world. But we'll get to that. Goku's busy running on Snake Way. What kind of things will he encounter in these episodes? Stay tuned, and we'll find out.
Welcome to Derek Hates Dragon Ball Z. I'm Spencer.
And I'm John.
We're going to be covering episodes 11 through 15 in this episode today.
You were nodding your head when I said John, like,
He is.
That's him.
Yeah, he nailed it. He nailed that line.
Yes!
In last episode, you said that episodes 1 through 10 are a good litmus test for whether you'll like Dragon Ball Z.
Well, you said litmus test. I still don't know what the fuck it is, but I was like, yeah, that sounds great.
It's just like a litmus test. It's a decisively indicative test.
Oh.
It's used specifically in chemistry for testing acidity or alkalinity, which is probably why it's stuck in my brain, because I studied chemistry in high school and college. That is beside the point, though.
It's a good point.
Anyway, the point is I want to counter with, while 1 through 10 are a good introduction for the characters and stuff, 11 through 15 will test your resolve in whether you're going to be able to make it through the rest of the show, regardless of how you felt about the first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because I really liked the first 10 episodes, and then these 5 episodes happened, and I'm not saying they're bad, but I am saying that the show starts to have an identity crisis at this point. It doesn't know what it wants to be, and I think it's like remnants from the Dragon Ball era before Dragon Ball Z was made. It's weird. It's so weird.
It's extremely strange. It's before they were kind of establishing the world, and here's what's going to be. Here's what you can kind of expect. And then I used the term meandering a couple of times.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use it in the bad way. Now it's less like meandering around a candy shop or like a sharper image.
Oh, that's a good one.
Meandering around a sharper image is interesting. They got cool shit you've never seen before. You're like, wow, a massager for your eyeballs. I didn't know I wanted that, but you do now. And so episodes 11 through 15 are more like meandering or are more... Leave that in. Like episodes 11 through 15 are more like the roof of that sharper image.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Is it? Because I didn't think it was
like
when
the cool,
I said it.
You're above the cool stuff. You know it's there, but you can't really see it right now.
Really touch. You can watch other people kind of interact with it, but you're using the eye massager wrong.
Yeah, and you're just surrounded by garbage.
Yes, and emptiness. Yes, emptiness and garbage. So I guess without further ado, let's fucking talk
Here
about
we go.
These goddamn episodes.
Luckily, the best one of the bunch, in my opinion, is episode 11. The American title is Terror on Aurelia. The Japanese title is The Saiyans, Mightiest Warriors in the Universe, Awaken.
And my title for this, the one about the fucking bug planet.
There you go. I mean, that's what it is.
That's exactly all it is. Yes.
That's what it is. I watched this episode a while ago, right after we recorded the first batch. So while I was preparing for these, I went back and kind of went through just to remember the visuals. And I thought that this episode was entirely on the bug planet with the Saiyans. That's not true. It actually starts out with Gohan being fairly competent.
Yeah, he's getting there, more so than usual. It's been a couple of months, I assume, maybe 2 months,
something
3 months, something like that.
Yeah,
and so he's learned to live in this weird wackadoo world. Like he's thriving at this point.
Mm-hmm. He also starts off the episode by like bouncing down a mountain with a coconut, half of a coconut on his head as like a helmet.
It's a bowl that he doesn't want to hold in his hands for some reason.
Wait, is that what happened?
Yeah, so he slides down the mountain with the coconut on his head.
Yeah.
And then you think this is just his helmet now, but then he gets to a tree, and what does he do to the tree? He like punches it or knocks into it or something, and then berries start raining down, and he uses that coconut to catch all the berries, and then he eats out of that coconut. I don't see why you need the bowl for that. You can just pick the berries off the ground, you idiot. I don't like Gohan. I'm coming to realize this.
It's so funny that you say that, because as these episodes progress, I find myself liking him a lot more.
Really?
Than episode 1, yeah, 100%.
Oh, then episode... Yeah, I agree with that 100%, yes. I've never been the biggest Gohan fan.
Ever?
Me personally, no.
I mean, not even. I
No.
understand, like he starts out, but then
not even few. Like as the series goes on, without spoilers, as the series goes on, Gohan grows, and we get to see him go through different things. And I never cared for a damn second of it. While he's eating the berries, Gohan is eating these berries. The big T-Rex that just killed his Bronto friend in
his
the previous
friend,
episode. And Gohan holds no hatred for this dinosaur whatsoever. He's like, hey, friend.
So he chases the T-Rex, and then, I mean, there's no build up to it. He just slices off a part of its tail to use as a steak.
Yeah, that's what happens.
But like he leaves the dinosaur alive with this cut off, exposed tail.
Yeah.
So that he can just keep coming back to this living creature and slicing off. It would be like going up to a cow and digging out like a 1 pound of hamburger and then just coming back whenever you want and just leaving it alive.
That's exactly what it is.
It's so gross.
It's
it
pretty nasty.
weirded me out.
When the dinosaur's got a hunk of his fucking tail missing, the dinosaur looks like, oops, I'm in trouble. But that's it. He's not like showing signs of agony or pain at all.
Which is, and this sort of exemplifies my problem with these episodes. Not that I have a problem with it. I still enjoyed it. Dragon Ball Z is a fun, interesting, creative show, but
sometimes it drags.
You've got this, which is like the perfect kids moment, right? Like the Gohan stuff is like a kids children's show adventure, and then it cuts to Vegeta and Nappa they decide to go down to this planet called Aurelia, just because
I think they were bored.
Yeah, they were like bored or something, and Nappa wanted to, I don't remember.
Yeah, so they're on their way to Earth. Vegeta and Nappa are on their way to Earth, and Vegeta says, we're close to the planet Aurelia, or whatever it's called. Arlia. New Orleans. We're close to New Orleans, and we're going to go stop by and get ourselves some Bayou food. And so they go check that place out. I think it's because they can sell the planet. Maybe.
Oh, maybe?
I think it's because we're still on the whole thing where Saiyans are pirates.
Yeah. Yes. As Vegeta was talking, I realized how good the voice actor for Dragon Ball Z Abridged is.
He's so good.
It is like perfect.
That Vegeta, the Dragon Ball Z Abridged Vegeta, in my heart is Chris Sabat. I think it's really Chris Sabat, and he just like put on like one of those Groucho fucking glasses and mustaches and went,
yeah, so they wouldn't
hey,
know.
Guys, let's make an abridged series, something like that. I don't know,
because it's so close to the real thing.
It's real good. Yeah,
it's amazing. So they land on the planet and they get captured by these bugs. And for some reason, the Saiyans are telepathic now.
Yeah. Oh my God, I wrote that down too. So they're just psychic.
Yeah.
They can just speak with each other with each other's minds.
I think it happens this episode and maybe never, ever, ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, hey, these bug creatures are going to catch us. Should we just kill them? It's like, no, let's play along and see where this goes.
Arlians.
The bugs.
They have swords.
Okay.
And they ride giant caterpillar creatures.
I do remember that.
But they shoot beams out of their face. So why do they fucking have swords? Because I'm a sound guy, I noticed this. They need to dial down the flanger on the Arlians voices, because it's like...
They sound...
It's too much. You got to dial it the fuck down.
And then it cuts to frickin' Launch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which I think this is the first time we've ever seen her in Dragon Ball Z.
That's right. There's 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds of Launch.
It's amazing. Like, it's a really incredible cutaway, because she's like running away from the cops, clearly a bank robber,
in a forest of mushrooms,
in a mushroom forest.
Yeah,
and she's riding a monocycle, like it's a motorcycle.
Oh, is it a motorcycle with a single wheel?
With a single wheel.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's like super sci-fi, technologically advanced, and she shoots the cops and gets away.
Yeah, she flips around on the monocycle and launches an RPG at the cops.
That's right.
And blows them up. And then it cuts back to the bug planet.
It just cuts back to the bug planet. Like, there's no explanation. Anybody that's...
Yeah.
I honestly think this is Launch's first shot in the entire show.
No, it is. For sure, unless they did, like, show a picture of Launch in episode 1.
Right, which
2.
I don't remember them doing that.
I don't remember that either. But as she's running away, you see that she does have, like, a bag of money.
Yes.
On her back.
And that's it.
That's it, though.
There's no explanation of who she is or what she's doing or where she's going. You just have to have watched Dragon Ball to get that. And then it cuts back to the bugs.
Vegeta and Nappa have been captured. They're put into a cell in a prison, I guess. And they're being told by one of the other prisoners that we live on this terrible planet where the king has taken my wife as his own wife, and you can tell she's my wife because I have a gold band around my arm, and then also the wife has a gold band around her arm.
So basically, Vegeta and Nappa walk into a weird dystopian science fiction story.
That's exactly what it is.
Like from another franchise that has no relation to Dragon Ball Z.
And it's only in this episode.
Yeah.
It's just this its own little self-contained. Is this a bottle episode? Is that what this is?
Technically, no, but I like the terminology enough that we can.
So weird that they even that they even add a layer of this tyrant king took my wife. Like, why bother? You're gone.
You know what I think it is? Honestly, I don't want to say anything for Toriyama, but I think the purpose of this episode is to show you that the Saiyans are villains instead of just telling you. They want to give you the slim hope that they're going to do like the right thing and be good guys, like help out the bug that lost his wife and kill the Tyrant King, do what heroes would do, and show you why they're different from Goku.
Okay.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
I can absolutely see that being
spoilers, by the way, in case you didn't connect the dots on that one, because
by the way,
shit's about to get wild.
Yeah, so they break up. They break out and go up to the Tyrant King's in front of his throne.
Yeah, because they have the power the whole time. They just decided to screw around just for a little bit.
They're just having fun.
They break out with ease and
go up to the Tyrant King's throne room, and the Tyrant King's like, "Why are these whatever the fuck in my tyrant?"
That voice is amazing.
Hang on, I gotta add a flanger.
Yeah.
Why are these? In post, I'll add a flanger.
Okay.
Why are these? I'm not gonna do it with my action. Okay. So then, moving on, the king says, "Why are these aliens in my throne room?" So it's a feudal society.
Yeah.
But they know about aliens and shoot lasers.
Sure. But why wouldn't they?
No further questions. So the Saiyans fight against their guard. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Saiyans fight against the bug guard. And spoilers, the Saiyans murder the fuck out of the bug guard.
Yeah. I think during the sequence, one of the Saiyans, I can't remember if it was Nappa's Vegeta, says, the old giant bug in the ground trick.
I wrote that down too.
What the fuck is the old giant bug in the ground trick?
You know, the classic.
When have you experienced this before?
All the time. It's the fucking classic, the giant bug in the ground trick.
Nappa also is creepy as fuck. He kills a bug and then like licks the blood off of his cheek.
Yes, Nappa doesn't realize they're the bad guys. He turns one of them calls them bad guys. One of the bugs are like, "You are the bad guys," and Nappa turns right to Vegeta is like, "We're the bad guys?" I
loved that scene. I did. Yeah. I wrote it down. Nappa has a revelation.
Yes.
For one split second, and like for everything to come, I'm really curious where that philosophy comes from in his mind, because he's just like two-dimensionally, mustache twirlingly, literally in this case, evil through and through. And it's crazy to think of that he thinks himself as a protagonist.
The old giant bug in the ground trick, that comes from the king earlier had two bugs fighting in his throne room, and the loser he tossed into the not the Sarlacc.
The Jabba's trapdoor, the Rancor pit. Yeah,
he tosses him into a Rancor pit, and then the big giant bug Rancor does horrible things to him off screen. We don't see it.
Yeah,
and then he's got a lever or something that just pulls the Rancor up to come fight in the throne room.
Okay, that's where it comes from.
And that's where he's like, "Oh, the old giant bug in the ground trick." Why would you even let the Rancor up in the throne room? Ever.
Rancor, make me laugh.
Yeah, he's just that fucking bored. I've killed everyone else. So this whole fucking time, they could have easily annihilated the planet. And we learn that when they go into space.
Wait, no, so much better. But right before that, so they kill everybody. And Nappa, right before they leave, is like, "Well, I guess this was a big waste of time then." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure was."
Mm-hmm.
The one that was in prison, the bug that was in prison, comes up and he's like, "Thank you, Saiyans, for saving me." He's reunited with his wife, like not right at that moment, but he's like, I'm gonna get with my wife, and it's great. You saved our society. Thank you so much. And they leave. Nappa and Vegeta leave.
The bug literally says, "Do my eyes deceive me?"
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And Nappa and Vegeta are up in space. They can breathe in space, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is the first episode where they can breathe in space.
Yeah.
Talk about that fucking later.
Don't need the pods. And then it cuts between Vegeta and Nappa up on the planet and above the planet, and the Bug and his wife running towards each other in like the classic romance sort of end of the movie thing where they're going to embrace each other. And right when the Bugs embrace, Vegeta's just blows up the planet like with a flick of his finger. Like he doesn't even blink or try. He doesn't power up or anything. Just like boom.
And then the whole planet's gone.
The whole planet's gone.
Yeah. It really, the whole episode exists to tell you these Saiyans are strong and they are also bad.
Yeah. Like incredibly evil. They have no moral center at all.
No, because just before that, just before the Bug gets horribly cut off from finally getting back with his wife, he says, "You are always welcome on planet Arlia.
We'll sing songs of you," or something like that.
You're
like
our heroes.
Yeah,
and then that's pretty much just pounding you over the face.
With their evil,
they're bad guys.
Which part of me, and especially with what's to come, I appreciate this episode because it's like it just revels in the bad guys being evil. You don't get to see a lot of that in fiction. I feel like. Just ridiculously over the top, no redemption. They know what they want to do, and they're not going to let anything stop them evil.
Speaking of orphans, episode 12.
Excuse me, Jesus. American episode is called Global Training. The Japanese episode is called Catnap on the Serpentine Road. Goku takes a tumble.
Wait, really? That's the Japanese title? That's such a small part of the whole thing.
Yeah. But it's the main point of the episode, apparently.
My title is the one where Launch is a bank robbing sociopath who fires automatic weaponry at children multiple times.
That's why she was introduced last episode. She's in this episode.
Yeah.
This one starts out with Gohan having a dream. I actually really dug this scene. He's basically having PTSD.
That's exactly what it is.
Bar none. He's remembering Raditz attacking his dad, and like it's getting to him. It's not a one-off thing. Like it comes back later. This is part of the reason why I like Gohan. He's three-dimensional. He has shit happen to him and it affects him and he changes. A lot of the other characters do not change. So yeah, he's got PTSD now, even though he's like a capable survivor in the wilderness. It's cool. You say what you want.
I don't like
whether or not you'd be his friend in real life does not matter.
Fine. I'd probably be his friend in real life.
Is that why it scares you so much? Because you're Gohan?
What? Oh my god! It's a show about me.
It cuts to Goku for a second running on Snake Way, and it's just gotta find King Kai, gotta find King Kai, gotta find King Kai. He says it like 4 times. So my note is gotta find King Kai.
It bothered me when Gohan says "Daddy, Daddy" again. Because I thought we were over that shit.
Yeah,
we're not over it.
But the PTSD, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. A 5-year-old has PTSD.
I think this is the first time Turtle talks. Maybe
it is
in Dragon Ball Z, and it's unceremonious. It just happens.
That I was watching it with is like the turtle fucking talks.
Yeah, the turtle on Kami Island, he talks.
Yeah, and he sounds exactly like you'd expect. He sounds like this.
They're like, "Can we save Earth?" And Roshi's like, "Nah." And Turtle's like, "Oh, well, it's been nice knowing you." So they've given up already. And then meanwhile, this is a weirdly big episode for Tien, who's the 3-eyed dude with Chaozu.
That's right.
Always in tow.
Do we even know who Tien is up until this point?
There's no context, but he's in Dragon Ball. But no, not really.
Yes. Oh, okay.
I think you've... Is this the first time it's not the first time you see Tien?
I'm pretty sure it's the very first time you see Tien at all in Dragon Ball Z.
Because he wasn't in any of the stuff with Raditz. He didn't show up to the battle. He wasn't on Kami Island when Gohan brought his son.
Nope.
Goku brought his son.
Nope.
That's incredible. And I didn't even notice that because Tien's been so ingrained in my mind as part of the cast. That's
Tien
nuts.
is he's a big buff dude who trains under waterfalls.
Yeah, dude, he's showering under the waterfall from Prometheus in the first time that you see him.
Yeah,
like he's
not fucking around. And then he has a weird little Chinese vampire that follows him around.
Named Chaozu.
Who is psychic.
It's super weird.
They're both members of the Crane School.
Yeah,
like there's the Turtle School and the Crane School. And they're both members of the Crane School, and so they formed a bond together. Chaozu has died previously.
And been wished back with the Dragon Balls. Yep. Well, we did not see it. Tien screams at the waterfall so hard that it stops, which is very fun.
Yeah, he's just that mad. Apparently, he has that effect on water.
And then Launch comes out of the house that they're next to and starts shooting an Uzi as if it were a dinner bell.
That's exactly what happens. Yes.
And this made me question. I don't know the history of Dragon Ball. Are Launch and Tien like a thing?
I don't actually know. I feel like they must have met at the end of Dragon Ball, and so that's
Okay.
why. But
Interesting.
I'm honestly not
Okay.
sure. I forgot Launch was even at all in Dragon Ball Z for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah, so did I.
But
I think she kind of takes her leave after the Saiyan saga, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
She's kidnapped other people and made them cook dinner for Tien.
because she's a sociopath.
Yep.
Launch is a fucking sociopath.
Yep.
So here's Launch's thing. Okay, Launch sneezes and she becomes an entirely different human being.
Yeah, she has two different personalities.
Yes, literally multiple personality disorder, but instead of multiple, well, I guess two is multiple.
Well, two is multiple, and it's a physical manifestation as well as a mental one.
Yeah. Yes. So
her hair turns blue and her eyes turn blue. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think she's in love with Tien. I don't know if it's reciprocated.
I don't know if she's in love necessarily, or if she just thinks that they can make a good team.
Oh, that's true. She does try to convince him to go bank robbing instead of trying to save the world.
Yes. Right.
That's sort of their big argument this episode. Chaozu looks weird without his hat. He takes
so
he takes
weird.
it off. He has one little hair,
One little baby hair.
like an alfalfa that sticks way up. It's really weird.
Launch asks Tien to join her in bank robbing. She's like, "We could rule the world."
Yeah.
And Tien's like, "Nah, no, I'm just not going to deal with that. Goodbye." And he walks out. And Chaozu begins walking out with Tien. And Launch decides now's a good time to fire my automatic weapon at this child. And so she does that. And then we cut to Goku.
Then we cut to Goku. It's maybe my favorite thing. Snake Way has a street sweeper.
Yeah, it does.
Like
Snake
an
Way has a
actual
street
big
sweeper.
truck machine that just cruises on down Snake Way for some reason to keep it clean. Even though there's only two people that have ever walked all the way down it.
Yeah.
Even though that must be a mistake
That's
then,
true.
because the street sweeper presumably goes all the way and then all the way back. I guess walking was the clarifier there.
So, what gets on Snake Way to make it gross? Clouds?
I don't know.
Do the clouds rain?
Maybe they're like they leave behind residue or something.
Goku meets the street sweeper?
Yeah, they have a little conversation. It's kind of nice. The street sweeper guy is like my favorite minor character. He's just a New York accent afterlife employee just trying to get by. He's got a shirt and tie on. He's doing his work. He doesn't want to be interrupted.
And he says, "Hey, if you're going all the way to King Kai's place, you could catch a ride on the back of my truck if you want."
Yeah, which that whole time I was like Goku, because he's running alongside it for a long time having this conversation at the same speed as the truck's going, and I'm like, Goku, just catch a ride, dude, just catch a ride. And then he does. I fucking love this show for fulfilling little plot holes like that. Like every once in a while it'll do that. Like it'll do something and I'll just be like, just do that, and then they'll explain why they either do it or they can't do it, and it's great.
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually pretty good about that.
That's true. Yeah, there are a couple times where that happens. It cuts to Piccolo.
So everybody is basically at a world wonder, like a monument,
Yeah.
something like a giant waterfall. Piccolo, we catch up with Piccolo. He's in the middle of a desert next to the pyramids.
Just the pyramids of Egypt. So he
Yeah.
uses telekinesis to pick one up, and then he loses control of it, and it falls to the fucking ground. And then he goes, "Oh, that was upsetting. I'm going to try again." And so he tries it again, and then he loses control of his own telekinetic power and cracks the entire fucking planet. And
that was wild.
yeah, he just runs a huge earthquake that cracks the entire fucking planet, because that's how strong Piccolo is. And it's felt by Gohan all the way wherever Gohan is.
Yeah, we see him laughing maniacally as he chases a half-tailed T-Rex.
Oh, that T-Rex that he chopped a chunk off to get some T-Rex
He's
tail
just
steak.
chasing it,
He's
just laughing,
following
having a
that
good
bitch.
time. And it's the ultimate payoff to the crybaby Gohan that we saw in episode 1. The earthquake is felt by Gohan. It's felt by Tien back in his waterfall place, which, side note, Tien has a pink door on his house. I just thought that I would mention that because I thought it was fun.
What?
His front door is pink.
All right.
Launch just runs out of it, and I just noticed it before the house gets destroyed. A giant chasm opens up underneath Gohan, and he ends up falling in. Piccolo's like feels his power or something and goes looking for Gohan,
That's right.
trying to find him before the earthquake swallows him up. Immediately as Piccolo's passing over the point where Gohan is, the chasm closes and Gohan gets stuck inside the world as Piccolo passes over it for some reason.
I don't know if that was Piccolo trying to right his wrongs. Was that Piccolo closing the chasm back up?
Maybe, but it doesn't matter because 2 seconds later,
Gohan jumps out.
Gohan jumps out as he's fine.
Did Launch sneeze in this episode?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, Launch sneezes in this episode.
Wait, maybe. Oh, yeah, because she's so wet. Stop.
How?
Her, Tien, and Chaozu get like hit by the waterfall or something because of the earthquake. The water swallows up the house, and Tien rescues them. They're super wet. So Launch sneezes because she's cold and whatever.
That's right. She sneezes and then she becomes Blue
transforms.
Launch.
Yes.
Let's go with Psychotic Launch and then Blue Launch.
Yeah.
How
So
about that?
Blue Launch is like, oh man, I've been here for a while, huh? I'm gonna go back to Master Roshi's place.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
She walks off.
And she's the sweetest girl in the universe when
Super
she's
nice.
Blue Launch. Yes.
Yeah.
And then she goes into like a field of flowers and you see she like lays down and then she's enjoying the flowers. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And then you see a flower land on her nose, like, oh, it's gonna make her sneeze. And it doesn't. I was like, whoa. From a distance, something else makes her sneeze. You don't see her change back or anything.
Yeah.
Some other bullshit happens, then she comes back to the waterfall
With Tien, yeah.
with Tien. She appears on a cliff. At the very end, doesn't Bulma show up to recruit Tien? Like, hey, we're gonna come train to fight the Saiyans.
Yes, I think I do remember that. The ship shows up at the waterfall and lands, or something like that.
And then Launch is like, don't you dare leave.
Yes.
I'll follow you to the end of the fucking earth.
Yep, that
and
is what
then
happens.
She starts firing at Tien and Chaozu with the fucking gun.
Yep. My note for that is bullets just don't do anything in this show, huh?
They really don't.
Because they don't.
No, it's not even Nerf darts. Like, they
Yeah.
must be Nerf darts, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
They have to be.
I can see why you see why. I can see why you see why you see why. What the fuck am I doing? I can see why you are thinking that she is in love with him, because I can also kind of see that. But maybe it's just that she believes he is as strong as Goku, if not stronger, because he actually did beat Goku in the martial arts tournament.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's like his whole obsession, by the way. Tien is obsessed with
beating Goku. There's so many people who just want to beat the shit out of Goku.
Yeah, he just wants to train. That's why. Anyway.
That's why he's under the waterfall.
Yeah, that's right. So he doesn't know about the world-ending plotline yet? Is that the thing?
He just doesn't. He's not aware.
Okay.
And then Bulma shows up and is like, hey, Saiyans are going to come kill us all. And he's like, what?
Okay.
She says, yes, they are going to convert us
If
all. and
I
take them all.
sound confused to you, it's because I am, because this show likes to introduce characters and you sort of have to think about how much they know in relation to the wider plot.
Yes.
It's very good / bad about having characters find out about literally everything that's going on their own terms, which leads to, in future episodes, you hearing the same lines 3 or 4 different times because the characters are in 3 or 4 different places finding out about things separately so that they're all on the same page. It doesn't shy away about that, which is interesting because it's realistic, and it sucks as a viewer because you have to hear the same lines 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know who knows what about the overall situation at any given point in time.
It also makes the episodes, if you're watching them the way that we are, just in a row,
Yes.
it makes them blend together because of that exact reason.
Yep.
Because you'll hear the same thing a couple of different times, and the same character will say this, and they use the same fucking shots a couple of times.
Like at the end of an episode, they'll do shots, and then at the beginning of the next episode, they'll like replicate it. Sometimes
Yes.
the words, the lines are slightly different, but it's the same stuff.
Or they'll literally just reuse the same footage over and over and over again. Tien with the waterfall happens. They use the same footage of that waterfall stopping twice or 3 times. I think twice for sure. Maybe 3 times. I'm going to say 3 times. Half of these people aren't going to fucking watch this show 3 times. So 86 times.
Everything we are telling you is 100% true.
100% of the time. The water. I forgot where I was going to go with that. I was just backing you up, and then I lost my original point.
Oh my God.
They reuse footage.
Yeah.
But it almost incentivizes you to keep going because the parts that are different are the integral plot points, and you just want to get to those.
Yeah, it's weird that
and you just want to keep watching.
they'll almost retcon a scene that happened in the previous episode by adding like another line or explanation into it, so it makes more sense seeing it the second time.
It's like, you know what this show is like? It's like eating popcorn. But instead of eating 1 kernel of popcorn at a time, you have to eat a cup of pudding with a single popped kernel in the pudding. You have to eat all the fucking pudding first, and then you get to the popcorn kernel.
I will concede that there are episodes that are like that, and
Not every episode. Yeah,
not
that's
every
true.
episode is like that though. The pudding is good, the popcorn is good, but you just want the popcorn.
But you just want the popcorn.
Yeah.
But you got to eat the fucking pudding. And these episodes, they're pudding.
Yeah, the ones
It's
that
a
we're
lot of
talking about
pudding.
now are definitely pudding popcorn episodes.
Pudding.
And then it cuts back to Goku. He's sleeping on the back of the street sweeper, and then he just falls off.
Yeah, so he officially has fallen off Snake Way now.
And the hands don't grab him or anything. He just falls off.
Yes. Yeah.
And my note is, wait, he's just in hell now? Episode 13 is called Gauze and Mez in America.
Oh my God.
The Japanese title is Hands Off, Yamasama's Secret Fruit. In Japanese, that is not a double entendre. It's actually what it is.
My title is Goku Goes to Hell.
That's a great episode.
That's it.
That's a really good title.
Didn't have anything better because that's all there is.
This is one of 2 episodes that broke my brain.
Oh yeah.
By the end of it, I
can
had
see
to stop.
why.
It's insane.
So I think this episode is filler that was not in the manga that is in the show. I don't know if that's true. I feel like that might be the case based off of
That would make so much sense.
a plot hole in the future that this episode opens up.
Interesting. Okay. So Goku wakes up. He's in hell. You can tell because a demon is there. And his shirt that he's wearing has the word hell stamped on it.
That's how you know he's in hell.
I will say this note now, and then I'll explain it a little bit later. But so Goku's hungry. He finds out that King Yema, the pink bearded office guy from the beginning of Snake Way,
big giant
the office worker
who put Raditz in a Yema lock.
Yeah. He has a fruit tree that only he can eat, but it's in hell and roughly 2,500 miles away from his office.
That's true. Well,
yeah, I know. We'll get there.
All right, yeah, we'll get there. And also, when you eat the fruit off this tree, it makes you twice as strong and fills you up for 3 months.
Yes.
You don't have to eat for 3 months. You are sustained for 3 entire months.
Yes. So Goku really wants some. The demon that he met is like, no. I'm here to guard this fruit. I cannot let you have it. That's it.
That's pretty
his
much
job.
it. Yes.
That's his job.
That's his job. And then it cuts to the Dragon Ball Z fighters, just the Z fighters, are climbing up to Kami's tower.
Yeah, here's my question. They like half of them at least can fly, and Bulma has a flying car.
Why didn't they fly?
Why are they climbing? And I think it sort of answers the question because it does not show anybody except Tien and Chaozu.
Right.
And Tien's like, I'm going to prove that I can do anything Goku can do. Goku climbed this tower, so you can theorize that everybody else did take the easy way up and he just wanted to do it because he's obsessed with beating Goku.
That's exactly what it is.
So,
and at the bottom of the tower, Launch wants to go up there and chump fucking Tien's bones.
Yeah.
But then she starts robbing a Native American tent, their teepee.
Their teepee.
And it's just her ass is hanging out wiggling from the fucking teepee.
Yeah.
And the Indian shows up and just sees her ass wiggling and he gets like blushed in the face.
Yeah.
He gets all flushed and he says, "What are you doing in my teepee?"
Yeah.
I don't remember anything else about that scene.
It's a bad scene. We shouldn't talk about it that much other than I'm pretty sure it's this scene. There's a part where Launch sneezes and she transforms, but it's on screen this time and you actually see the hair and the eyes change.
Yes.
Which is really cool. It was actually very cool.
Yeah, I think is now an appropriate time to talk about the racism in Dragon Ball Z.
It's there.
So, or should we?
I guess.
Because Mr. Popo is straight up blackface, isn't he?
I like to think of him as an alien creature.
He's like an alien genie. But,
yeah.
And if you look at the outline or the drawing of his actual body, it isn't so bad until you see just the face, the eyes and the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a specific reason as to why it was drawn that way. I don't think it is intentionally racist in the way that Americans perceive racism, but it could very easily be called racist.
Yeah.
And with the Indian in the teepee,
I mean, I could see how people would take that and say it's nothing but stereotypes, and there's nothing about that scene that is negative about the culture. Like
stereotypes,
then it's going to be
then it's going to be racist.
100%.
Right? Because that's literally, he's got a feather on his fucking head. He's got a headband. He's got the leather chaps. He's got the fucking teepee. He's got a bow and arrow. He's tall, dark, and handsome. It's 100% of the thing.
The point is, it does exist in Dragon Ball Z. Like, I don't want to be one of those people that just glosses over it so I can be entertained.
Some things have not aged well.
Yeah. I will say that as far as I can tell, as a white American male that has no justice saying anything like this, it doesn't seem like it's done in an offensive way. At least like the dialogue and the scenes and the way the characters treat the other characters, like it doesn't seem like it was meant with any sort of derogatory or offensive thing. But they didn't try to be sensitive to other cultures.
No, that's a good way to say it.
And that sucks.
They didn't at all try to be sensitive whatsoever to other cultures. So
anyway, that scene's fucking weird. It goes back to Goku in hell, and it's like he's in a park, and there's like birds, and there's like there's sun, and there's sky. It seems nice. Like hell seems kind of nice in this world.
Dude, hell is amazing.
We're gonna get to why it's even better than I'm describing it now, but just that's my initial reaction during that scene.
And then so the puff clouds that we saw before that were waiting in line to get like judged.
They are souls of
they're souls of
every being in the universe.
Yes. There are 2 of them that are making out on a park bench. There's 2 of them that are running around through the fields. Hell seems awesome.
Yeah.
It seems like Earth 2,
where you don't have a body, unfortunately.
You're just a puff cloud.
But it is Earth 2.
But apparently they can still make out and shit, so.
Yeah. So that's probably fine.
Maybe it's Akira Toriyama's way of showing that these people are so not important that I'm not even going to draw their fucking bodies.
I think that's exactly what it is. So there's 2 demons, Gaz and Mez. They both have the shirts, and they are trying to decide who gets to fill out paperwork and who gets to go watch Goku, basically. And they decide, you think they're going to fight, but they just play rock, paper, scissors. The guy that always gets chosen to do the paperwork chooses paper. So, like, he's got to tell.
Yeah, go figure. Also, he's wearing big nerdy glasses.
He is.
For the time. Like, before the big, thick-rimmed glasses became geek chic, they were just, you were a fucking pencil-pushing nerd.
Yep.
And so that's what they're trying to say here.
The demon that does not lose says to Goku, hey, if I got a bet, and if you win, I will give you my personal flying machine. And you can get back to Snake Way.
So, okay, their bet is if you can beat me in wrestling.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
And guess who wins? Goku or this random demon character?
Yeah, who knows? Who news?
We don't news.
A couple of ancillary things about this scene. The souls in the rowboat was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. There are souls in a rowboat. So there's 2 puff souls in a rowboat on a blood fountain.
Yeah, there's literally a sign in the background. It's called Bloody Pond.
Is it really?
The name of the thing is Bloody Pond. And then it cuts back to it after the wrestling match and back to the rowboat people, and they start singing Row, Row Your Boat.
They do. I love that. Just row, row, row your boat. And you're not ready for it because for the whole episode, you've been sitting there like, why are we in, like, how is Goku going to get out of hell? But okay, here's how. He tries. So he tries to use the personal flying machine, which is...
Oh my God. So he wins the bet, and so the demon gets a giant seesaw out and says, you get on one end, I'll get on the other. I'll jump off the other, and then I'll launch you into the air.
He's like, it's all very technical.
The show literally becomes Looney Tunes. It's literally just Looney Tunes. He gets launched by the seesaw up to the air. You can see the clouds from Snake way above. That's, he's trying to get there. He doesn't quite make it, and as he's falling, he does a Kamehameha to the ground. And physics dies a little inside.
He does it in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
But also, still, though, it does not make sense.
Yeah. It's a little weird. And then he falls in the blood fountain.
Yeah.
Falls right in that blood fountain. Goku is covered in blood. I mean, it doesn't show it because it cuts away, but he falls in the fountain.
Yep. And it cuts away to Gohan terrorizing that tiger that, like, took his hat in episode 1.
Yeah.
Just following him around, like, run faster, Mr. Tiger! Because he calls Mr. Everybody. So he's, run faster, Mr. Tiger, and the tiger's running away from Gohan with a fucking sword.
It's great.
So he's terrorizing this goddamn tiger, and at this point, the person that I'm watching it with was like, fuck Gohan. Gohan's a dickhead.
What do you mean? He's racing tigers. He's doing great. At one point, it cuts back to hell. It shows this group of souls in a line all dressed up with, like, hats and sunglasses and cameras and stuff.
Oh my God.
And like one of the demons that we saw earlier that was harassing Goku is like, hey, line up for the hike. We're going to Mount Needle, I think it was. 2x2 up this way. We'll be going on this hike. It'll take this many hours. Like, he's just a tour guide. Like, he's just a tour guide taking people around on hikes.
That's what it is.
And it's hell.
It's hell.
My note was demons lead hiking trips in hell, and then my brain broke.
So Goku can't make it up to the top of the cloud.
He's trying to jump and stuff.
He's trying to jump and try and get up.
He actually gets to the cloud at one point and like bonks his head on cloud because it's really hard or something. So Goku can't push through the cloud cover. Yes. Basically, he's stuck in hell.
He's stuck in hell. You can't. Once you go slip through the clouds, you can't go back
up. Yeah.
Yes. Pencil pusher demon says, maybe I will get my turn to fuck around with this human.
He says basically, if you can catch me, I will show you a secret passage that leads back to Snake Way.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Yeah. And so Goku's like, cool, yeah, let's do it. And they start racing around hell in this incredibly long chase sequence that showcases many things of hell,
So many different things.
But of particular note, is the amusement park.
The Disneyland-esque amusement park with the Ferris wheel in a castle.
And families and scattered around doing the rides and stuff. And like, and Goku and Maz, they just like go on the rides. They ride bumper cars together. They like go on the swings that are going round and round. And they're having a day at the fair, and I'm losing my mind. I still like remembering. I can't handle it. I could not handle it. It broke me.
This is a large part of why I believe this episode is straight fucking filler. Is because they spend so much time going on the rides at this amusement park, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of a 20-minute episode.
It's a lot.
And you're like, come on, just do something. Somebody shoot a fucking Kamehameha again. I know they do it earlier, but there's so much. I'm just over this.
It's a lot.
Eventually, he catches him.
Yeah. The Snake Way secret passage is a huge, obvious tunnel between these two giant rock walls. It's just like the only gap in there is the way you go.
Yeah.
It's very big and obvious. They are ogres, not demons. I forgot that I made that correction. They call themselves ogres at the very, very end for some reason.
Yeah.
So Goku wins the bet. He's finally getting out of hell. He goes through the secret passage.
Before he goes through the secret passage, he does take one of King Yama's apples.
He does.
Which feeds him for 3 months and then makes him twice as strong as he was before.
Yeah, he eats it. Yeah.
Remember that. Because after Goku goes through the secret passageway...
Oh my god. He goes up the stairs and keeps going up this weird-ass, like, 2001 A Space Odyssey staircase.
That's what it is.
And he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. And he comes out in King Yama's desk drawer.
The King Yama, who is just the fucking office worker-ass demon who judges all the souls. The Peter Mayhew, not him. Saint Peter, whatever. It was close.
You got it.
The Saint Pete of this universe's hell and heaven. Otherworld? Is it Otherworld? His desk drawer opens up a little bit, and Goku peeks out, undoing all of the progress that the last couple episodes have done.
King Yama's like, what are you doing here? And Goku's like, oh shit, I'm at the beginning again. I gotta go.
Yeah. Just kidding. See you later, King Yama. And he starts running. But if you'll remember, he ate the apple.
He did.
So all the progress that he had made, he'll make up in half as much time.
Hopefully. It opens up. So King Yama's fruit tree. King Yama's fruit tree is very easily accessible. I was wrong about the plot hole earlier, only there's a whole new plot hole in that the only passage to get there quickly is through the man's desk drawer that is the size of a drawer compared to him. So how does he get the fruit? How does he get the fruit down there? How does he go down there to get the fruit off the tree, though?
Probably has somebody bring it to him.
I hope so. This broke me. This episode broke me. I don't understand the physics of it, and it was weird and the hell. And
I enjoy that MC Escher-esque bullshit. I kind of like it. I like it because it doesn't.
I mean, it's Otherworld. It can exist and it's fine.
But what the fuck? Though?
Yeah. There's so much. Speaking of what the fuck, episode 14.
Okay.
The English title is Princess Snake. Japanese title is Such Sweet Temptation. The Snake Princess Sama's Hospitality.
My title is the one that's a 15-minute build-up to a 15-second scene. So incredible. If you watch any episode in this set, or even in this arc, make sure it's this one.
I heard that's what Funimation was thinking about titling the episode. So
that's... Who told you that? Is that your in? Your secret
My
in?
uncle works at Funimation. Goku has had to retrace his steps on Snake Way because he came out of Yama's desk drawer and had to restart, which is terrible, but it happened. And so this episode begins with him catching up to the street sweeper guy that we saw in last episode, because it's the milestone for where he was,
well, this time the street sweeper guy is on his way back, though.
Oh,
which means the street sweeper guy made it all the way to the end and then
is coming back. That's interesting. What a fun way to tell time.
What a fun way to show that Goku just wasted all of our time.
So much of all of our
his own fucking time.
Yeah.
And but he is much faster now because he ate the fruit, so he's twice as fast now.
Yeah.
Assumedly.
And as he passes by the street sweeper guy, he I don't know exactly, pushes the street sweeper van, or maybe the driver's just distracted. I can't remember exactly how it pans out. And street sweeper guy falls off of Snake Way and into hell.
That's right. Yeah. He just is there now.
That's what happens. Cuts to Piccolo for a second. He's training.
A tornado.
That's right. It's this episode.
Yeah.
Piccolo makes a tornado with his mind, using telekinesis, or wind power, which I'm really glad of because he uses it all the time later on.
Oh yeah, it's just when I think Piccolo, I think of his tornado telekinesis powers.
Yeah. Getting continuity centric for a second, they cut to what we would refer to as Kami Tower, Kami's Lookout, where the Z fighters are training for the arrival of the Saiyans with Kami and Mr. Popo. The narrator calls it Korin Tower, and he doesn't show Korin's Tower. He shows Kami's Lookout when he calls it Korin's Tower. And I'm really confused about the difference between all of that
I
shit.
looked it up on the Dragon Ball Z Wikia. The picture on the wiki is for Korin's Tower. It's an above view, and there's a top to it. There's nothing above it. There's a top to the tower on the wiki, and then Kami's Tower is a totally separate tower, apparently. I don't fucking know. I don't. This one's too fucking confusing for me, too. I don't know. Maybe it's the same one.
In my mind, it's always been Korin's Tower's below Kami's Lookout, and then it keeps going a little bit, and then
the flower of Kami's Tower. That's in my head when
flower. That's very nice.
Accepting.
So that's like how I'm going to picture it. If anybody has any contradictory evidence, let us know, because I'm confused.
We are really not Dragon Ball Z historians.
It's true though. Like I'm a huge fan of the show. I play a lot of the games.
That's what we are. Honest fans who are just wanting a fucking answer sometimes.
Yeah. We're just throwing this out into the world so that somebody may be able to answer us.
Yeah.
Help. It doesn't stay at Kami Lookout for long. We cut back to the afterlife, and I feel like this is the introduction of Princess Snake's tower or palace. Somewhere like the Snake Way just like runs through Princess Snake's palace. He just sees a building that's embedded in Snake Way.
Yep.
And he's like, what?
Goku arrives at this place, and it's just a big snake mouth. He sees that it's just a big snake mouth jutting off the side of the tower.
Palace.
So he runs to the fucking snake head, and it sucks him in. And he gets sucked in, he gets dropped out of another snake mouth into this palace. And there's girls who arrive, and they're like, oh, hey, you're welcome to the palace or something.
Yeah.
They're not very descriptive. And Goku sees Princess Snake and thinks it's King Kai at first.
That's right. He does. It's weird. Kai. It goes on a little too long. It's weird.
And he's like, oh, I'm here to train. And she's like, oh, I guess I'll train you. And she gets all blushy. She like gets flushed in the face like way too many times. And they start dancing. Ballroom dancing.
And it seems like it's a metaphor for something else. But she mentions that King Yama is the only one that she's like met up with like anytime in the past recently. So she's super lonely. And it's weird to me how much King Yama gets around. Like, what does he do when he's not at his desk? Because that dude is fucking everywhere.
Yeah, he really is.
Like partying all the time, and I want to know his life.
This is Yama's like retirement years.
Yeah.
Yama as a young man was a fucking rad playboy. I think. I don't know, but
he's been to hell. He grew a tree. He found Princess Snake. Like, he's the only one to meet King Kai at the end of Snake Way.
I would watch a show called Dragon Ball Yama.
Yeah. Princess Snake tries to date rape Goku.
Well, hang on. You just jump right to that. Hang on.
It's terrible, though.
That is literally what happens, yes.
She tells, okay, they dance. She's like, Goku's like, I gotta go train with King Kai. She's like, stay. Have dinner. Have food with us, which is Goku's like word for I will abandon every other goal.
Yeah.
You say food and he just does it. So she whispers to her servants like, put this fucking rhino sleeping agent tranquilizer in his food because he's gonna stay here.
Like, that's just a normal thing that they hear all the time.
Yeah.
They then cook up this meal with, of course, the traditional crocodile head and the bear paws. And it's just a bunch of weird.
Where do they get these creatures in the afterlife? Are they dead crocodiles that they then killed again to eat?
That's a good question. I don't know. Goku eats all of it.
All of it.
Every last.
Princess Snake is very amazed, and I don't know if she actually eats anything herself.
Goku is apparently resistant to poison, we learn here, because he doesn't get knocked out like that at all.
And they were like, what?
Yeah. They do that, yes. Then Princess Snake says, get him to stay. And one of the servants is like, King Kai hates dirty people. You should take a bath.
And he's
Goku.
like, okay, I
Yeah.
get, well, and fair enough. Goku's been running for, it feels
he's-
like, well,
mhm.
months at this
He
point.
smells his clothes. He's like, I guess I am a little stinky.
Yeah.
He gets into this.
This like onsen, like this fucking like
Yeah.
hot spring bath.
Of blood. It appears to be red. And so I assume it's blood
Interesting.
because we saw the blood fountain an episode ago.
Sure. I thought it was just the sun reflecting because
Well, no.
it shows him, bathing, and then one of the wildest moments happens after Goku's in that bath, and it calls into question so many things. My brain is going to explode when we get to this point, but Princess Snake is sort of spying on Goku in the bath. She turns around, and behind her is this like Truman Show style control room with her servants inside it, and she's like, trigger the sunset maneuver alpha, and they push buttons, and then there's like this contraption, this mechanical.
It looks like the International Space Station.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
And it changes the color of the sky to be more like romantic and sunsetty or whatever.
Everything else has looked traditional Japanese building architecture.
And on top of that, magical.
And magic.
Like afterlife, otherworld, sort of physics are out the window, do whatever you want. And then they show this like Truman Show technology.
Yeah, it's crazy fucking satellite laser motherfucking beam thing, and it's fine.
It's weird.
They move on
It's
from
weird.
that. So Goku gets out of the bath. Oh, Goku.
You skip the... Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it cuts to this shot like almost randomly as Princess Snake actually approaches Goku after the sunset, sort of is in maximum romance mode. And it took me a second to realize what I was looking at. It's Goku's butt.
Mm-hmm.
He's just ducked under the water and it's just peeking out of the thing. And then he kind of pops up and I'm like, did we just see Goku's butt? And then he walks out of the bath.
Yes, no
totally
shame,
naked.
completely naked.
I mean, that's fine for Goku, but it's fucking wild. If you're watching this with your kids or anything, it's got to be one of those moments. Like I was saying earlier, having Gohan chasing dinosaurs, having fun is a very child's thing. It's just a naked man, and I get that like Japanese culture is a little bit not as reserved about that stuff as we are, but it was just weird. It was just really weird.
You don't see Goku's dick.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
But
you're right.
And I wouldn't have been mad if they showed us his dick. Just right then.
There's no sexual thing to it. It's fine, but he is right. It's just
it's a cover your shame thing.
Yeah.
And he did not at all whatsoever cover his shame. But after he leaves, she's like, what a bod.
Yeah.
Which you can read in between the lines. She looked right at that man's penis. She just stared. She made eye contact with the snake. With his snake.
Oh my god.
So following that, they're trying desperately to try and get Goku not to leave. Because Goku just wants to train with King Kai. And he's at this point, he's like, okay, you're not actually King Kai. This is
I gotta go.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. Princess Snake is imploring her servants. Do anything to stop him from going.
This part is not okay. This part is not okay.
Favorite fucking part. Oh my god.
The exact quote. Okay, the servants surround Goku. They're trying to get him to stay. And one of the servants says, I have something to show you. And it's my gun.
It's just like that. There's
I
just
love that you
much
wrote
of a
down the
pause.
quote too.
Yes. It just gets so boring around here. And I would like to play sometimes I like to play a little game of chance.
It's not good.
And it's a fucking 6-shooter revolver.
She's putting a bullet in it as she says
puts
this.
a bullet in it, yes.
It's Russian roulette.
Around. It's literally Russian roulette. She says, in over 10,000 years, I've never lost a game. She spins the fucking thing, puts it to her head, and explains how the game works. You just put it to your head and pull the trigger, and she shoots herself in the head with the revolver. Yeah, and you see it.
And you see it.
And you see it come out of her head, and she's dead now. And Goku's like, understandably, and then they just, well, actually, look at this other fucking thing. We got these two ladies that are also dancing over here. Look at this. And Goku at this point's like,
yeah, this is the
he's
part.
shocked. He's like, shocked.
I was too. I tried to like write a note and it's just garbled keyboard letters because I freaked out. Like my brain couldn't process what was. So it's just like, what the fuck is happening?
We had to pause the episode as we were watching it. When she said, and it's my gun, we paused because that was too fucking funny. We were like, because we had just watched episodes 11 through up to here.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There were a couple like, what the fucks? But there wasn't like a, what the fuck? Until this. Then we pressed play, and I don't think we were ready, even after catching our breath and being like, okay, she's just showing him the gun. for her actually blasting a hole through her own head and then no longer being a character.
And it doesn't even mention it. Like, nobody cares.
No.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's incredibly... I don't have words for what this is. I really don't.
And gang, it gets worse. It gets worse because after that happens,
They have these blade dancer girls.
That's
They're
right.
dancing with big blades, and it's distracting Goku because they're moving in mysterious ways. Princess Snake asks one of her servants to drug the shit out of him. Just drug him. So they bring him a nice glass of freshly squeezed apple juice. So they give it to him. He drinks it, and then he starts to get a little fuzzy.
yeah, and then Goku like falls unconscious, and they're like, "No, it's fine. I'll just get the dream mirror."
Oh yeah, they just pull out a dream
They
mirror.
just pull out a mirror and look at his face, and then they can see his dreams.
She sees that Goku has a family, and then she gets jealous, and then they become the snake people to devour Goku.
She like transforms into a demon snake.
Right.
It's terrifying.
Yes. And then so do all the servants.
Yeah, and then she says, "I'll just eat him."
Yeah.
She doesn't want to keep him anymore.
Nah.
Just wants to eat him.
Because he has a wife and kids. But even though he's dead and they're still alive, and they're never going to make it to Snake Way.
Yeah.
Nobody else ever has made it over to Snake Way
Apparently,
other than
Snake
Yama.
Princess made it halfway.
Yeah, and she just
So-
gave up the ghost there.
Questions that occurred to me at this point were, why does King Yama let this place exist directly in the path of Snake Way?
Because he's got to get some, I guess. He's got to stop by over.
But that's the thing, is that right after this happens, Goku's like, "I gotta go," and he tries to leave, and then Princess Snake is like, "You didn't realize the whole time," and the palace fucking fades into non-existence,
Yes.
replaced by the innards of an actual snake.
Turns out, yeah, the entire time that Goku has been in this place, in this palace, in these different rooms, in the pool, he's actually been inside of the belly of a giant serpentine creature that is digesting him.
Yes, and I want you guys to understand the full extent of how insane this is, because earlier in the episode, there was a technological contraption that controlled the color of the sun. But if it's all an illusion, why does that exist? Why can't
Yeah.
they just snap their fingers and make it whatever the fuck they want? There was no breadcrumbs to come to this conclusion.
No.
There was they just decided that's what it would be, and it makes no sense, and I just couldn't handle it.
No, I feel the back of my brain actually splitting open a little bit right now as I'm speaking, because this episode is both the best and worst of Dragon Ball Z for me personally. It's wacky, nonsensical, hilarious, you're not expecting it, and then nonsensical in an illogical sort of way on the other hand, where it doesn't have to be this way. You could have just wrote it so it made sense, you dick, but he didn't. Maybe this is another one of those filler episodes. Let's talk about filler episodes for a second.
Okay.
Because we've just been talking about filler episodes. For
I
however long.
know.
So let's talk about filler episodes. There's a manga. They made an anime. The anime needed episodes to fill time slots.
While the manga was being written, and
Bam.
yeah.
They just made shit up. With Akira Toriyama's approval, but he was too busy writing the anime. He couldn't be there every single day to go over every single fucking thing that they did. So he'd just read the story ideas and go, that sounds good. So they would create these episodes, and it's filler. They're filling time waiting for Toriyama to write more of the fucking story.
Yes. So you can cut them out, and you wouldn't notice a difference.
But don't cut this one out, though. Watch it so you understand what a filler episode is. And then the rest of the filler episodes just...
You can cut. Oh, no. There's one in the, roughly
Okay,
the Cell
all
Saga.
right,
That's the most amazing episode that Dragon Ball Z has ever done.
Some of them are pretty okay. Some of them are pretty good. I've never actually seen that episode beginning to end.
Oh, it's pretty good. Okay, so the illusion shatters. Goku's stuck in a snake. He's like, fuck, and flies out of the snake. And then a giant chase scene between him and the massive snake.
It's a huge serpent.
And it breathes fire.
Oh, also, yeah, forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, and tries to stop him. Goku is smart and ends up like flying around in a way that ties the snake up in a knot. And then there's just a giant knotted snake in Snake Way that's just sitting there. It's funny though, because it seems to stop the snake from chasing him, but the snake can fly. So if it's knotted up, how is that different than just being a snake? Like, why Why does knotting it up stop it from being able
Stop.
to?
Too much logic. You're applying your brain, and you got to not apply your brain sometimes, especially with the filler episodes. There's no, not even just with the filler episodes, but just stop thinking. Just accept. He knotted the snake, so that's it.
The thing is, the show does try sometimes, and I think that's probably when they're just adapting the manga where they actually make logical sense. This is not one of those times.
No.
Goku's like, fuck, that was odd, and he just flies away, and then the
He's
episode
done.
ends, and thank God it's over.
Yeah. Yes.
We do have one more episode to cover. It's also weird, but not nearly as weird. Episode 15 is called Dueling Piccolos. That's the American title. The
Which
Japanese.
is such a good. I feel like this is an obvious joke, but dueling piccolos like dueling banjos. Do you get that now? Did you not get that?
Okay,
before?
that's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yes, it's a pun.
This entire episode has been redeemed because of the title. The explanation of that pun. It's very good. The Japanese title is Escape from Piccolo, Gohan Summons a Storm.
Yeah, I didn't have a title for because every 5th episode I don't come up with a title and I just freeball one. So here we go. The one where Gohan is surfing on the sand and then he's on the ocean and then he's on the sand again and then you don't really know what the fuck is happening and you just want it to be over and then it's over and you don't feel like it's over. But it is.
I don't remember where he is when the episode opens, but it opens with Gohan and he's doing algebra in the sand or the dirt.
So he's in a cave and he's doing math. He's
trying to keep up on
himself.
his lessons. He's drilling himself.
He's
yes.
math drilling.
The equations on the floor, whatever he's drawing on, are way too advanced for him, but whatever. But it's cool. Shows that he's smart and wants to do the right thing. He's remembering his mom and all that stuff. Piccolo, it cuts to Piccolo and he's having PTSD as well.
I don't think he's having PTSD. I think he's recapping the things that he could have, like we all have those moments where we think back to the past and we go, what could I have done differently? What went down? How could I have been better? I think that's what he's doing in his head. He's not having PTSD like Gohan is having a nightmare. He's just recapping what were the events that went down. How could I improve?
Yeah, he's remembering his fight with Raditz and losing his arm and all that stuff.
He gets really fucking angry and then through his anger clones himself.
Which is what? It's a technique we will learn later is called multiform, and apparently everybody can fucking do it.
It was a thing, and I know that multiform was in Dragon Ball, but I didn't know that it was just a thing that everybody fucking learned.
Yeah. It's weird as shit. Anyway, another Piccolo comes out of Piccolo, and his clothes are there too. That's weird because the clothes get cloned. I don't understand. Gohan decides he gets to a desert. He makes a desert boat. This is a cool scene. Shut up. Don't roll your eyes.
My eyes are rolled so far that I'm looking into my own brain trying to stab itself.
He gets to a desert and he's like, how am I going to cross the desert? He builds a boat that has like a sail on it and he has the wind push him. And he's just having so much goddamn fun on that desert boat sailing across the dunes. That's all I wanted to do as a child. And so I really relate to this part. And he's my favorite character now.
Until he's attacked by a giant hawk. Then he pals around with that tiger who took his hat in the first episode.
Oh, yes.
Which, by the way, at this point, the tiger has appeared more often.
A lot. He's like a secondary character.
He truly is. Yeah. He has more character than most of the characters that actually speak.
It does cut to Goku for just a second during Gohan's adventure. And he's just flying across Snake Way. He says, the bad Snake Lady sure wasted a lot of my time. She wasted all of our time. Goku.
She did.
Yeah.
Does he really say that?
He does.
I do not remember that at all.
He does. So anyway.
There's so many 15-second or 10-second cutaways to Goku. Just like...
They're usually my favorite part, but yeah, it does cut to Goku so often for so little time just to remember that he exists.
Mm-hmm, that's all it's there for.
The Eagles from Lord of the Rings are here now. They... just giant fucking birds. And then I think is chasing Gohan, and Gohan's on his little desert boat. My exact note is, and I'm sure this is basically your title of the episode, there's a desert next to a forest, next to a cave system, next to a mountain, next to a beach, next to an ocean, within 1 mile of each other.
Within a mile of also the pyramids.
Oh, yeah, because that's where Piccolo was.
And also the waterfall.
Yeah.
Everything in this world exists next door to
and it's
itself.
just like gigantic and fantastic. And
yeah, you can go through multiple biomes. It's Minecraft. So Piccolo is fighting himself because he wants to better himself, I assume.
Yeah, I was really confused about that. I was confused if one was like the representation of evil, that was like the part of him that
You are thinking way too deep about it.
Yeah.
He's just training his own
he's
damn
just
self.
training. It's just
Which
him
is
again.
dumb, because even if you're fighting yourself, you know your own fucking moves and what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So...
And it's a weird. I really do think it's just a reintroduction of the multiform move from Dragon Ball, but it's fucking weird to do it without saying what it is or explaining it at all, which they will later.
Yeah.
But it's just weird.
Then it cuts to Chi-Chi,
yes.
who is...
Oh my god, dude.
I honestly
Really
Chi-Chi
felt for her.
is the good guy in
Yeah.
all of this. She's so fucking sad. And then her dad's like,
I wonder why Chi-Chi's so sad about her husband's death and her son's kidnapping.
Chi-Chi has not eaten
What?
anything in a week, according to this.
Yeah.
She's locked herself up in her room and she refuses to come out. Like, I feel so bad for this woman right now.
yes.
I just want to help her.
And her dad doesn't understand why she's so...
Why won't you eat anything?
Yeah,
Really? Ox King? Really? Really? It's honestly sad.
it really is. And it, like, kudos for the show for providing some kind of emotional,
Yeah.
like, punctuation on all the crazy shit that's happening,
Mhm.
bringing it down to some kind of
Real level.
like, relatable.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we cut back to Piccolo, who says,
My greatest opponent is myself. If I can discover what my weaknesses are, then I will be even stronger than I already am.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. In my head, it's hard to process.
It was
I get
so weird.
The sentiment makes sense, but then also, let's take a step back here. Let's say you clone yourself, and then you decide to fight your own self. Is your clone going to have the exact same thoughts as you?
I mean, technically, yes. But as you do more separate interactions, they become more of their own independent entity.
It's like the Netflix show Living with Yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's compare Paul Rudd to Piccolo, because that's the kind of podcast this is.
So, Paul Rudd is a schlubby dickhead guy
Yeah.
who then goes through a chamber, spoilers for Living with Yourself, and becomes the best possible version of him. And they meet up, and it's the schlubby version versus that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the schlubby version versus the
There
best
are
possible.
pros and cons to each individual thing.
Right, yes. Piccolo making Piccolo Part 2 is just also Piccolo again, though, so it's the same thing. So when you go to make a punch with the right hand, the other one's going to make a punch with the right hand,
Yeah.
and you both miss.
You still have the same biases, the same, like, thought patterns. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So why is he even doing it?
I don't know.
I love this show, but fuck, sometimes it
I'm
does
really
not make
I'm
sense.
glad you feel the same way that I do, because I apologize. I think yeah, the first 2 episodes that we did of this podcast, I think really special to me, and I'm glad we did them. This episode though,
It's also the first time I've ever watched the show beginning to end.
yes, instead of just catching whatever was on Toonami that day.
Yes. It's not, I'm not going to say that it's bad, because it's not. Even having the sounding board of the person that I'm watching this with, having never watched the show, she's like, it's not bad. It's never bad. It's really not what I'm wanting to watch the show for, though.
Yes, 100%. I said at the beginning of this episode, but it has an identity crisis. We'll see more of that when we talk about episodes 16 through 20. Anyway, so Chi-Chi's gonna die.
Take us home, Spencer.
Gohan somehow ends up on an island. Like he's in a place with his tiger friend somehow from his desert boat adventure. Ends up on a beach. He's like, "Where the fuck am I?" So he climbs up this mountain and looks out around him in all directions. It's just water. There's literally no land masses where he could have come from that signify where he's. The show never explains it. There's not like a storm. He doesn't get knocked unconscious. Like what? How the fuck did he end up on that island? And why is that a story point? Why does it matter? I don't get it.
Because he's surfing on the sand, and then he's on the island. So, duh. Just dummy, just watch the show. No, so I looked away for 15 seconds to write, Gohan, with a sword on his back, punches a tree down. Then when I looked back, he was on an island.
Yes. For a second, I was questioning whether Piccolo versus Piccolo was a fight in his mind or if it was actually happening. It actually happened. He talks more, but at that point, you're not sure which Piccolo is which Piccolo and what they represent. So I don't understand what the conversation means or what his internal monologue means, but I think they're just the same person. I mixed them up.
Also, we should mention that when Piccolo splits into multiform, It's violent. It's gross.
Oh, it's super gross. Yeah, there was like a body horror moment for a few frames. Yeah,
where he
100%.
splits out from himself entirely. Like a second face forms on his face so that it sloughs forward.
It's significant.
It is. It's enough that we're talking about it. It's not just like he just becomes two. Like he's moving real fast and now there's two.
No, it's like you think it's going to mean more than it does.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's gross. Gohan does like work out how to build a raft to try to get off the island, which I thought was a really cool character moment for him because he's not a scared little baby boy.
Yeah, he creates this. Well, it's a setup payoff in the beginning of the episode. We see him studying in the cave. He's doing math. He's solving problems. At the end of the episode, he builds himself a little boat to get off the island. And this tiger, which at this point has been with us since episode 1.
Yeah.
Has character and has been with Gohan on this deserted island, like living and surviving.
But yeah.
This tiger has had more screen time than some of the actual secondary characters. Gohan gets on the boat that he's built himself, turns to the tiger and says, "I'll come back for you," and leaves.
And doesn't come back.
Doesn't ever. The tiger's on this island now.
Yeah.
I'm mad about that if that's not obvious.
Well,
I like that tiger.
There's things that happen in future episodes that kind of explain why he doesn't go back. But Piccolo finishes his battle, moves back into himself, and it's the scariest goddamn thing I've ever seen in anime. Because just as violent as the separation, if not more so. It's terrifying. Gohan, is there an explanation for the storm, or does it just happen?
Yeah, he didn't check the fucking weather channel.
Sure. So Gohan's in a storm now, like later on, once he's left the island on his raft. He's like, oh no, I don't know how bad the storm's gonna get. I better eat all my food right now.
That was such a Goku move. Like this storm's gonna be super bad. I better eat all of my food right now.
So you're your father's kid for sure. He just stuffs himself, and then he says, "Oh boy, I can't swim."
Oh yeah, he makes mention that he cannot swim in this moment.
And then the episode ends. Like he's just in the middle of a storm. Piccolo doesn't know where he is, where Gohan is, and that's it. I'm sorry that we have to end on this note.
I wish we had something more for you.
Oh, actually, there's some. Next time we'll learn about more of the Saiyan backstory.
Hang on,
for the better or worse.
We do it.
I'm just telling you. You can cut this part out. I'm just prepping you.
No, well,
I don't know what your notes are.
You don't. Well, you just do it then.
No, cut it. You do the voice.
No,
just cut this part out and you do it.
No.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Hey,
yeah.
There it goes.
Next time on Eric Takes Dragon Ball Z. Next time on Eric Takes Dragon Ball Z. Gohan goes on adventures. The training continues on Kame's lookout. And Goku reaches the end of Snake Way.
I feel like you cheated because you looked at your notes. You should have just made it up on the spot. You're just shitting on me.
I wanted to do a good job for you.
Oh, I guess I was hoping that me paving the way with my terrible improv would help you.
Yeah, but you've got the voice.
So you just did the voice.
I don't feel like I did the voice.
Whatever. All right, okay.
There's some good stuff in the next episode, gang. Thank you for sticking with us through these episodes, and we will... Hey, while we're talking about it, we're on iTunes now.
That's right.
Officially for realsies this time. If you feel like if you've enjoyed or not enjoyed what you've heard so far, feel free to stop by iTunes
and let us know.
Yeah, feel free to stop by iTunes or the Apple Podcasts app. I think it's being converted to nowadays.
Is it really?
Yeah, drop us a rating and review. We love to hear feedback, and we're a super young podcast, and these first few weeks are very helpful. So
pivotal.
Yeah,
you could call them pivotal if you wanted to.
Thanks for your support. We'll see you next time with better episodes. Bye. All right, now it's time for the official outro for Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. He may hate the show, but he loves that you're listening. And aside from being on iTunes and any ratings or reviews you guys feel like throwing our way, if you feel like supporting the podcast, you can head on over to our coffee page, ko-fi.com/EricHatesDBZ, where any contributions you make to our podcast are put towards cool bonus goals. Right now, we've got the first Dragon Ball Z movie on the roster for a bonus episode, but if y'all have any ideas, feel free to send them our way. We are currently halfway to that goal. Very excited about that. In, I think, the next episode, I say that again, so maybe head on over to that site and prove me wrong by the time the next episode airs. You can also send us some feedback at mail, M-A-I-L, at ehdbz.com. Stands for erichates.dragonballz.com. You can also find us on Twitter using the handle at erichates.dbz or on Instagram under the name Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. This podcast has been a lot of fun for us so far, and we think it could be even better with some fan feedback, so feel free to send us your thoughts on Dragon Ball Z, the show in general, or the episodes we've covered or are about to cover. We'd love to hear whatever you guys have to say. And for those of you who tuned into the stream a couple weeks ago, thank you for joining us for that. It was a lot of fun, and I think we're going to do another one soon. I'm not exactly sure when. We'll let you know, but we had a good time. It seems like our audience did too, so stay tuned for details on that, and for the next episode, airing in a couple weeks. Until then, get caught up with Dragon Ball Z episodes 16 through 20, and oh right, I almost forgot. The music for Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z is done by my incredibly hardworking and talented co-host, John Good. You can find more of his music on SoundCloud under the name Burn7. And Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z is part of the Rocktopus network of podcasts. If you enjoy listening to us, consider checking out our sister podcast, Tales of Nowhere. It's a genre-bending tabletop RPG podcast where we take one cast of characters through multiple games and rule sets to tell one epic story. It's a really fun time. And if you're a fan of that kind of thing, consider checking us out. I think it's time for me to stop dragging this intro into the ground. Bye for real this time.